We live? Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the live, the Q&A. I want to do more of these. I want to give back. I want to help. I want to answer any questions that you guys might have. If you're catching these recordings, guys, and you didn't get to catch me live and ask your questions, shoot me a DM. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram. It's probably the best way to be in contact with me right now. If you don't follow me on Instagram, Daniel, what's my Instagram handle? Zack Boothe. How do I spell my name? I'm just kidding. ZackBoothe. Definitely follow me on Instagram. You can shoot me a DM there. Probably the best place to reach out to me. If you have questions about real estate, if you're trying to get started, if you don't know where to get started, how to get started, right? Any of that stuff, I'm here to help you. So shoot me a DM on Instagram, see how we can help you. But let's as people start coming in here live, let us know what kind of real estate experience you have. I know we got people jumping in live here on TikTok. This is going to be a Q&A, but I want to know from you guys, where y'all from? What real estate experience do you have? And what are your goals with real estate? That's a lot, but where you at? What are your goals? What's your name? And where are you from? So go ahead and chime in and let me know, guys. Wanted to share some things that I've been working on. Very, very exciting. So I've dabbled in since the beginning of the year. We're going to have some stuff coming on my podcast here shortly, dropping some amazing gold nuggets and value. Paid a lot of money for this coaching for myself in the real estate space to teach me how to do virtual land investing, where I'm finding land at a discount, buying it, and immediately reselling it. You could even sell it on contract for cash flow, passive income. Paid a lot of money for this coaching, but I've had some pretty freaking amazing results. So far, we have closed out about $42,000 in profits, and we have about 4 or 5 deals pending that should be well over 6 figures in profits between those deals coming in from that strategy at the first of the year. So make sure you're tuning into my podcast. We're going to start breaking some of that stuff down and extra value adds there in the next coming episodes. So the podcast is called Driving for Dollars Mastery. Whole point of that podcast is to give you actionable steps to help you guys get your very first real estate deal, more specifically, real estate wholesale deal. I interview successful students, what they did, how they did it, right? So if you haven't checked out my podcast, Driving for Dollars Mastery, it's definitely worth a listen and tune in there. You can catch it anywhere you guys catch your podcasts. Another couple exciting things. If you guys don't know what real estate wholesaling is, that's where you find a house at a discount and you pass it on to another investor for a finder's fee. My average wholesale deal traditionally over the last 12 months of last year was a little over 30,000. That number is going through the roof this year, partly because of the timing economically right now. I think I said that completely wrong, but it doesn't matter. But I have only ever done one wholesale deal where I made over $100,000. I did that last year. We did a $105,000 wholesale deal where I found an opportunity and passed it over for that kind of a finder's fee. Absolutely crazy. But what's cool is we just did another one that cashed out this week, 110,000, and I think next week we have our second for the year getting cashed out. So within a few week period of time, I'm going to cash out on 2 deals, making over $200,000, which is absolutely fun. It is so fun when you make that kind of money that quickly. It doesn't happen overnight to learn how and to get to that point, but it is the reality, which is so crazy because not too many years ago, I was a window washer, guys. Sometimes I still wake up and pinch myself that I have the opportunity to provide this kind of life for myself and for my family. But more importantly, is I get to teach and help other people just like you to have those kinds of freedoms. This stuff works, guys. I'm not the only one that's having success. I'm not uber smart. I grew up kind of like a redneck kid. I hunt, fish still. Like I love the outdoors. And I just have made a lot of money from real estate. More than anything, I love helping people like you. So that's why we're here. We're going to do some Q&A. So I think I have some questions coming in from you guys with things that y'all need help with. So I'm going to start answering those. But if you could chime in where you're from, what real estate experience you have. So I got my first question here. Best skip tracing source. So if y'all don't know what skip tracing is, right? You're tuning in. You don't even know what skip tracing is. Well, our job is as real estate investors is to find someone that wants speed and convenience over price for their house. They want a pawn shop for their house. So we got to find who owns that house, right? So first off, what I like to do is what's called driving for dollars. I drive around and find the vacant houses, the ugly houses, the rundown houses, and then I want to find out who owns it, and then reach out and call them and see if they want to sell. If you haven't watched my 40-day challenge on YouTube, I did this in 40 days, actually a little less than 40 days. I made $93,000 by finding ugly houses and passing them to flippers. 93 grand. I got $1,000 for marketing. So once you find those ugly houses, you have to do what's called skip tracing. The terminology comes from uh, bounty hunters and debt collectors. When someone skips town, they skip trace. They're tracking them down and getting their phone number. So we use the same technologies, but to get people's information to reach out and see if they want to sell their house. So I'm using a company called Batch Skip Tracing right now. You can use my discount code DFD if you want to get a little bit better price. You don't have to, but that's what I'm currently using. We use other technologies as well. So first off, we use Deal Machine to identify the houses. So when you're driving around, imagine you have a Google Maps image and you see an ugly house. All you have to do is touch the house and it'll upload all the owner's information, mailing address, property address, the owner's info. And you can pay right within the app for a phone number as well. It costs a little bit more. It doesn't come with a subscription. So it's Deal Machine. If you use the discount code PIN, with Deal Machine, you get $100 worth of skip tracing for free or sending postcards. So you get $100 by using that discount code. And then the third skip tracing source that we use is called Skip Genie, skipgenie.com. I don't have any kind of a discount there for you guys, but it's a great resource. It's skipgenie.com. We use this when we find like a vacant house and, batch skip tracing isn't getting us good data. This is a little bit more expensive, but the reason I like Skip Genie is I also can pull all the family members and people that might know him and relatives. So when I'm really trying to track down the information of an owner and like really getting aggressive because the house has been sitting vacant for years, that's the source that I'll use, skipgenie.com. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful to your question. Is that all right to focus? Here's my next question from Gary Hoffman. He said, is it all right to focus on JV deals as a beginner in wholesale? So I know that there's companies out there that will coach you and teach you to go and try and find buyers for other wholesalers, where a wholesaler will push out their deal and you call and say, hey, I have buyers for it. You build a buyers list and you help them find a buyer and you get a portion of the deal. I definitely do not think that's a great strategy. Why? Because the majority of the value is in the deal itself and finding the deal. I teach all of my students to have at least 100 cash buyers on their list before they start their marketing. They don't need someone to joint venture. Sometimes they will joint venture, but I tell them to not work with someone that's doing what's called daisy chaining, which is, just trying to get a buyer for someone, but doesn't do any marketing themselves. I tell them to go with the big wholesalers that are doing a ton of deals because they have the proven buyers. They have the email list that's indoctrinated to their process. They get a good open rate in their email, right? They're actually going to find the best buyers. Yeah, you have to give up a portion of that deal, but it's the most safe and proven way to get a buyer if you can't find one. So like Astro Flipping is a company that you can pay a lot of money to that'll teach you this daisy chaining model. Honestly, I don't like it. I don't think that it's a great investment as far as like a strategy to get started. I JV with people and people will bring me a deal and I'll help them find a buyer from time to time. It's just because I'm established. I'm doing a ton of wholesale deals in Utah and Florida. And so if people need a buyer, I can help you there. But I really think that you're better off to go direct to seller, try and find those opportunities. Sweet. Blaze said, started buying houses back in 2010. Heck yeah. Owned 6 properties. Wasn't really going well. Sold all but 2 over the last few years. I'd like to get back into it with wholesaling. Hell yeah, Blaze. It's funny that you say that. That's how I started. I bought a rental back in 2010. That was my first investment deal. That was when I got started. Actually, it was 2012. Sorry. 2012, I bought a duplex, but I started researching about 2010 and I bought my first one then. And then I had flipped a house, which was a nightmare, borrowed money and stuff, and had bought another house and I was dabbling. I had got a seller finance on 2 more rentals. And I was like, man, this is just not working. There's got to be a better way. and I read a book. It's called Multifamily Millions. And in there, he said something very interesting. He said, real estate investing is marketing, and our product is real estate. And if you can't get that between your two ears, you won't be in business for long. So when I first read that, I was like, what the hell does that mean? But what it means is if you don't realize that our job is to do marketing and to go find sellers at a price that can make us money, you'll not be in business. We're marketers, guys. We're marketers looking for a good deal, for a good investment deal. So if you depend on like a real estate agent to find you deals, or if you depend on a wholesaler to find you deals, right? You're competing for, the worst possible prices instead of going direct to seller, getting good properties. Because if you can get properties at 40, 50 cents on the dollar, you kind of got to be a big dummy to lose money and not make a fortune. Right. So I learned that I had to find deals and essentially become a wholesaler. So what I do now is I tell my students this: cherry pick your best and wholesale the rest. So I do marketing to find good deals, and I keep some and I sell the majority. Right. And so I get cash flow. I'm building wealth. I'm cherry picking deals. And when I buy them, my net worth goes up and it's not taxable. I have passive income from those rentals, and they're cash flowing really well because I got them at such a good price. Right. Like, real estate wholesaling to me is real estate investing, because it all starts with getting good at getting discounted deals. You have to have a lead flow. You have to have deals and be able to have a company that's in charge of sourcing deals, right? So it's a beautiful, beautiful business model. What's that? Oh yeah, it's called Multifamily Millions, was that book that I read. Great book. But if you guys are wanting to get started in wholesaling, not only do I do it myself, but I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people across the country do it. There's a link in every single one of my bios where you can go book a call and talk to us and see if I can help you through the process. I absolutely love it. You'll get my personal cell phone. I'll personally walk you through your hot leads and your deals when you got a deal on the line. But you're going to have step-by-step action steps to build your buyers list, title companies. I give you my contracts, all those foundational pieces, all the way into how to find those sellers at the cheapest prices possible. I use a very systematic approach to driving for dollars. That's why my program's called Driving for Dollars Mastery. And it works, guys. It works so well. I'm in my recording studio, but if you followed me for any length of time in my normal office, you see that I have all my students that I'm currently coaching on the wall behind me. And the goal is to get them out on the success wall. Once I help them do a deal, we put them out on that wall, and I have them on my podcast called Driving for Dollars Mastery to share their story, what they did, how they did it, so it can bless more lives as well. So go book a call if you're at all interested in getting some support. Blaze from Southern California, love it. Let's see. Comey said you started 15 years ago. Awesome, Comey. What is your struggles right now? What do you need help with? You started 15 years ago. What's your business look like? Is there anything that I could answer or help you with today for joining me live? Xavier said, I talked to Tevin. Heck yeah, man. Hope to have you as a student. Are you going to get started? Let me know if you're going to get started as my student. I know that you haven't come in because I get a text with all my new students with their picture, and I call them immediately. So I didn't see you come in unless your name's different off of social media. Let me know if you're going to be my student here soon. Can I get a legit contract from you? So I do give my contract that I use to my students. I do actually give it away for free on TikTok. If you scroll through and watch some of my TikToks, I do like a scan over my contracts. You can go read through those and kind of take what you want from those if you want. You can also get them from an attorney, but yeah, I do give my exact contracts to my students as part of the package. All right. Let me know if you guys have questions. Just got this receipt right here. Look at this. So Miguel just dropped this. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm in my text messaging on my computer. Can you see that at all? Not really. No, it doesn't matter. It is a drop-off package with a virtual land deal in Florida. This one's going to make us about 11,000 profit. Nothing like crazy good, but I've never seen the property. We bought it about 2 months ago. I bought it for like 9 and I'm selling it for like 24. I think my profits is 11,000 and change. Pretty awesome. right? Never saw the property, never went there, never did anything. And I wasn't even the one that talked to the seller. I had someone that talked to the seller and put it all together. And this was the receipt that my guy sent me that the documents have been sent off. So that deal is done and closed. I'll get the wire this week as well. So I have a 110,000 that came in yesterday. I did a joint venture deal where I helped find a buyer. I got like $2,500. That came in the day before. And then we got this $11,000 deal. We have another deal next week, like I said, that's another six-figure deal. We're hoping for another $110,000 deal, maybe to be 95. I don't know. It's a lot of money, but absolutely awesome stuff, guys. This business is life-changing. Go ahead and chime in with questions you guys might have. I got a student asking me a question here. I'm going to answer that super quick because he's got a super hot lead on the line. All right, beautiful. All right, next question that we have here. How much is it to be your student? We'll have a couple different options. If you want to become a student, more than anything, what I want you guys to understand is I also might not be a fit for you. What's more important is to book that strategy call, because what we're going to do is we're going to break down kind of like where you're at, and ultimately what are your main struggles and what's keeping you from being successful, and ultimately what's possible for you. And maybe in that discovery call, we'll find that we're ultimately not even a fit for each other, and maybe we'll see that we have something that is a fit for you and where you're at. So that's kind of like a hard question to just answer, like it's this much, because it depends on what you need and what we're going to provide for you. So if you go to the link in my bios, like I said, just go book that call. It's a discovery call. It's completely free. There's no high pressure sales or anything. We just talk about where you're at, what what your struggles are, and ultimately what we have to help you. So just go book that call. That's probably the best way to do it. We can jump on the phone with you. Any more questions coming in? Let me talk about this. So many people are afraid to get started in real estate, right? And they feel like, or even to become an entrepreneur. And I was talking to a kid, a friend of mine. We're actually going to go on a like a backpacking trip this next week. Been a friend of mine for years, love him to death. He's even done lots of work on some of my flips. Great kid. And he was talking about quitting his job and being a full-time entrepreneur. And he was talking about some of his concerns and some of his fears around it. And it's so common. It's common with everyone. It was where I was in the beginning of my journey. And I still sometimes catching myself with this mindset and these thought processes. And so maybe some of you here chime in if you feel this way, but you want to get started, but you have fears. You have fears of, will I fail? You have fears of like, well, I want to get started, but I want to make sure I understand everything first. I want to make sure that I'm guaranteed success, because I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to fail. I don't want to have to restart. I don't want to have to go back when I've tried to move forward. And so you kind of like have been sitting in like this stagnant, analysis paralysis situation. Do any of you feel like you're there right now? Like, let me know. Do you feel like you're stuck? You've been wanting to take action, but you feel stuck. Like there's this information overload feeling. If you felt those things, let me know. And I have found something with coaching hundreds of people across the country to help them get their first deal. I have found that there's a mindset that has to be overcome. Um, and it's this: if you are saying to yourself, if you're voicing in your head or out loud, I can't because, right? I can't afford a coach because I can't afford coaching or marketing because I can't get started in real estate investing because I don't have time because if you say I can't because, you are immediately giving yourself an excuse. You're giving yourself an out. We do this because you legitimately have a problem and an obstacle in front of you. And instead of saying, how can I overcome this obstacle? Because you say, I can't because when you say, I can't because, it gives you permission to not take action. It gives you permission to not get uncomfortable. It gives you permission to not get dirty. It gives you permission to be okay with staying stagnant and not risking an opportunity to win. right? But if you will change that and change that mindset and that thought of saying, how can I? Because it's going to open you up to the opportunities and possibilities of what you can achieve in your potential. I promise if you're saying I can't because you are not living up to a tenth of your potential. The moment that you start saying, how can I? Because like I was talking to someone the other day and said, I can't because I don't have money for marketing. And I said, well, why don't you say, how can I afford marketing? Because I have kids and I want to give them a better life. And saying, I can't because I have kids and I can't afford marketing. You say, how can I afford marketing? I remember in the beginning of my stage of becoming an entrepreneur, I built handcrafted furniture, pine furniture, and would sell that. I was doing that at nighttime. I did trade work with my immigration attorney while I was going to school and trying to get married. And my wife's from Brazil. I did lots of creative things. While I was washing windows and trying to get into real estate, I was pitching. I wanted to flip a house, and every wealthy investor that was there at their or wealthy person that was at their house while I was cleaning their house, I told them I wanted to flip a house and was wondering if they would invest. I pitched to over 40 people before I got a yes. Right? I started saying, "How can I?" Because I'm a broke window cleaner, and this sucks. This sucks. I'm stuck. I can't provide for my family. I can't pay my son's medical bills when he's born, right? I'm frustrated. I'm working 80 hours a week and I'm not making a difference in my family's lives and I feel like I'm failing them. I'm going to get emotional. I didn't feel worthy of love. And I was able to change the mindset of I can't because to how can I because. And I tell you guys this not to be like, "Oh, look at me, I did it." But I really want y'all to be successful. And I promise if you change that mindset and start saying, how can I? So many damn things in your life will drastically change. So change that thought, change that vocabulary. Never say, I can't. Okay. Okay. I'm going to get back to questions here. Um, hey, I booked a phone call and no one ever called. This is Destiny. Destiny, send me a direct message on Instagram. I will personally call you. All right. If you booked a call on our calendar, maybe there was a miscommunication of the time that was scheduled. And maybe someone on my team dropped the ball and I'm going to find that out, but shoot me a direct message on Instagram with your phone number, reminding me that I promised that I would personally call you and I will call you. I'll call you right after this live. So shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll call you personally right now or as soon as I end this. Any more questions that you guys have around this? If you don't, that's okay. I'll just say this, guys. I've seen so many people in so many different walks of life. I've seen single moms. I've seen moms that are sole providers, do deals $20,000, $30,000 on their first and second deals. I've seen people create financial freedom in very difficult situations. I've built the closest relationships with these wonderful people. I'm so close to so many of my wonderful students. It's not because I'm so likable. It's because the system that has blessed my life, my driving for dollars mastery system that has blessed my life and my family's life has been passed on to them and it's blessed their lives. My mentor that I hired to teach me how to be a coach, his name's Tom Kroll. The first time I ever sat down with him was in Port St. Lucie, Florida. I said, Tom, teach me how to change lives. That's what I want to do. You know what Tom said? He said, Zach, no one's coming to your funeral. He said, no one's coming to your funeral. I was like, what does that mean? He said, if you teach people to get notoriety and to get love and to get, money, he said, no one will care. You will make no difference. You will have no meaningful relationships out of this. You will have no success long term. But he said, if you teach and if you give back for them and make the students the hero and make your audience the hero and really, really want to change lives, you will change lives. You will have a full heart. You will make money. And he said, your funeral will be full, right? Tom Kroll was the one that got me into real estate. He's also got me into coaching. And he has been the one that has been my mentor and my guide. I am a real estate coach because I want to change lives in the way Tom Kroll changes lives, in the way he changed my life. I want to pass on that legacy. And I want the people's lives that I change to be able to do the same. I want you guys away from the 9 to 5 grind, going to get a paycheck, just because you have to and you absolutely hate it. You're willing to because you love your family and you got a work ethic, right? But there is a better way. And I want to give you that freedom so you can make a difference, so you can go on and do good. I'm not saying you'll be a real estate coach, but maybe you want to volunteer for your church. Maybe you want to volunteer for your community. Maybe you want to make a difference politically, right? I want to be that guy that made that small difference in your life that gave you the ability and permission to change the world, right? That's why I do this stuff, guys. So please let me know if I can help you. I'm on Phoenix, and the reason I have not gotten into wholesaling is a lot of people say it's super saturated. It is super saturated. It is very competitive. Arizona, Utah, California, Seattle, Oregon, your east and west coast, Denver. A lot of these bigger metropolitan areas, Houston, Dallas, a lot of these big metropolitan areas, there's a lot of investors. There's a lot of competition. 1000%. Guys, I was getting crushed in the beginning of my journey because of competition. You know what separated it? Is I started doing what no one else was willing to do. I started earning my success by doing driving for dollars. This works in any market across the country. Why? Because you're out building your own list. You're out doing the work yourself, right? You're building a list that no one else has. And even if someone drives for dollars as well, if you're willing to do it aggressively and in a systematic way that I teach, I freaking guarantee you that you will get your first deal in the next 90 days. I do not care what market it is. I was in Utah, one of the most competitive, and there is some absolute rock star real estate investors and wholesalers here in Utah. And I was getting crushed in the beginning, doing the tax delinquent and the prop stream and everything that everyone else says to do. And I was getting annihilated. I was spending money and not making any. And soon as I made this shift into earning my success with driving for dollars, everything changed. I went from barely making any money to just shy of $500,000. The year after that, $1.2 million in my wholesaling business, guys. This stuff works. And what I'm currently doing is what I'm teaching. I'm not just teaching something in theory. I'm not teaching regurgitated BS that everyone else is teaching. I'm giving a proven system that works. That's what you guys need to understand. So if you're in Phoenix, if you're in these competitive areas, right, don't do what everyone else is doing. You got to find a niche way to find success. And I know that that's what I have available to you guys if you're curious or you're interested. So links are in my bio. Like I said, Destiny, please DM me right now on Instagram with your phone number, and I'm going to be calling you right now. Everyone, thank you so much. We'll see you around. Follow me on social media. Driving for Dollars Mastery Podcast is fire. I don't have enough listeners in there for the value. I guarantee it. So you guys are want to catch me there. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you around.